What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We've got an exclusive for F1 Manager for you today. In-game imagery, game details, and a Q&A which involves the game lead. What more could you ask for? Watch on to find out.
This is a sport like no other. Countless hours of planning and preparation have brought you here. You have tested, strategized, tuned to perfection. Your drivers and crew have practiced relentlessly. They are focused, synchronized, ready for your lead. And from the moment the lights go out, the decisions you make, the risks you take, this is what gets your team to the podium. Do you have what it takes to win?
Hello folks, my name is Steve James. I'm a community manager here at Frontier and I'm working on F1 Manager 2022. And I'm joined by Andy here and Lawrence Barretto from F1 to tell you a little bit more about the game. Andy, can you just tell us a little bit about what you do?
Hi Steve, my name's Andy Fletcher. I'm the game director on F1 Manager 2022. I've been here at Frontier for over 10 years. I've been the lead designer on some of our key management titles like Planet Coaster and Jurassic World Evolution. Now my role is to define and communicate the vision for F1 Manager 2022 to our super talented team so we can make a fantastic Formula One management game. And we're going to talk a little bit about that vision today.
All right, thank you. And Lawrence Barretto, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, I think I've probably got one of the best jobs in the world. I'm a reporter and broadcaster for Formula One and Channel 4. And that essentially means I get to talk to racing drivers, to team principals and to engineers all race weekend and trying to find the inside line.
All right, thank you, Lawrence. So, Andy, F1 Manager 2022, can you tell us a little bit about the game?
Sure, this is our new fully licensed Formula One management game in which players get the chance to be a team principal of a constructor team of their choice. And we're presenting it in broadcast quality presentation. And really we want to deliver, authenticity to the sport that everybody loves. We want players to feel like they're really playing that role of a team principal in charge of everything. And of course, we want to bring to life those dramatic races that we all enjoy from the sport.
I'm a huge F1 fan, so I'm really excited to be working on this. But a sports game is a little bit of a departure for Frontier?
Yes and no. I mean, in terms of management games, Frontier have been making management games for over 20 years now. So, in that genre, we have a great deal of expertise and heritage. And like yourself, we have a lot of Formula One fans. So, it's definitely new and exciting, but it also feels like a perfect match as well.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I mean, it's sounding really good. So you mentioned earlier this broadcast quality presentation. Can you just expand on that a little bit for us?
Sure. So we've been utilising a lot of real-world reference to bring the sport to life. Of course, a lot of that is to do with the circuits, making sure they're accurately represented, even down to the camera angles that they use in the F1 broadcasts. Audio side, making sure the trackside audio and the team radio sounds just right. And the races themselves, we've been looking at historical data, of course, historical races, making sure the racing lines are just right. And we've been working with F1 very closely to make sure that the driver likenesses for the 2022 driver lineup is accurate. Even getting pit crews into the mocap studio, so all those garage interactions and those incredible pit stops are replicated as accurately as possible. Really, all this research, all this reference, the aim of it is to make players feel like they're taking charge of the real thing.
Okay, cool, thank you. Lawrence, can you just tell us a little bit about what a team principal actually does?
I'd say that the job of a team principal is probably one of the most high-pressured ones in the Formula One paddock, because ultimately everything hangs on their decision making. They've got to hope that the drivers are getting the best out of themselves. They've got to hope that the team is operating at a high level. They've got to manage the budget, and then they've got to make sure that they're spending that money wisely. And then they've got to make sure that they put that all together to fight for the championship on a consistent level.
So there really is a lot of weight on a team principal's shoulders. How are we looking to reflect that in the game?
Well, in all of our management games, we want to give players key decisions with meaningful outcomes. And in the world of F1, as a team principal, this of course means making the big calls at the race weekends. But it also means, directing the team and shaping the team in between the race weekends back at their headquarters. So this could be everything from, voting on new regulation changes that are going to affect the season as they go by. Developing your headquarters and upgrading your facilities, scouting for new staff members and new drivers. We're lucky enough to have the F2 and F3 championships as a pool of staff and drivers that the player can scout from. And then, of course, you've got the car, the mechanical heart of the team. This is, we want to really represent that ongoing cycle of improvements and kind of performance trade-offs as well, that are all encapsulated in the F1 car, such a big part of the sport. So, all these different areas we feel are going to help players feel like they're really in charge of the destiny of their chosen team and in charge of the safety of their own job at the end of the day.
It's really sounding in depth. Lawrence, the sport has seen quite a rise in popularity over the last couple of years. A lot of changes coming in 2022. Can you give us a bit of an insight into that?
I think it's a really exciting time for Formula One right now. We've had Netflix and Drive to Survive, which has really shown a different side to Formula One. It's always been entertaining, but they've gone inside and behind the scenes and kind of shown a new type of performance and entertainment of what's going on, really. I think that there's other streams as well. Gaming is huge. It's really exploded in the last few years. We've got social media as well, and what's great, I think, is the drivers are really engaging with social media. They're letting us into their lives, essentially. You've got younger drivers as well. You've got Charles Leclerc's, your Max Verstappen's, your George Russell's, your Lando Norris's. You've got these guys understanding that their fans want to get closer to them, and so they're opening the doors to them. And I think that's what's super exciting for Formula One as a whole, because we're bringing in this new generation of fans, and we're definitely happy to have you.
Andy, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, we're keenly aware that there's a lot of new fans coming to F1 of late, and we really want to make a game that appeals both to the new fans and also more established fans. So, we think new fans are going to find a great management game, first and foremost, one that brings to life the dramatic races that they enjoy on TV, and perhaps introduces them to some of the deeper elements of the sport as well, where the established fans are going to enjoy those deeper elements, of course. Appreciate all the authenticity that we've put into the game, and hopefully see this as part of their annual engagement and enjoyment of the sport itself. In terms of 2022, it's such an interesting new season with the new car, the new regulations, and I think it's a fascinating time for a game like this that puts you in charge, gives you the role of a team principal, and allows you to build a new legacy in a new era of Formula One.
All right, Andy, thank you very much for that deeper insight into what we can expect from the game.
Thanks, Steve.
And Lawrence, thank you very much for your insight from the paddock.
Thanks very much.
All right, folks, that's all we've got time for. So be sure to stay tuned to our socials. We're going to have a lot more behind the scenes content coming up from the game.